I started with like painting and drawing, and then I told myself, well, if I could do this, what if I could do it with fashion?
Today, I think if I was starting out again, I would probably start with like a defined view of what I want in terms of my product.
Whatever it is, it's your story, your journey.
Okay, we're here today. Thank you to a Menlo insider, David Hernandez, who's right there in the corner. You can't see him, but he's here in the flesh. He is working with Angel here. Angel here wants to be a fashion designer. Are you in high school?
Yes, I'm in high school.
What year are you?
11th.
11th grade, so he's a junior in high school, and he has some questions for me. I'm gonna break it down for him as best as I can.
So when you first began, did you know what you were gonna do?
The thing that I was most obsessed with always was clothing. Like my entire life, since like age 4, I would like put together my outfits, whatever. And the high school, I would spend all my money on clothing. College, spend all my money on clothing. So then it was kind of a natural thing, like, oh, I want to go into fashion because I'm obsessed with clothing. And then when we were starting out, we were doing graphic t-shirts because that was the easy thing to do. But it's funny because I never wear graphic t-shirts ever in my life. Like very rarely do I wear graphic t-shirts, but it was easy. So it was like an easy entry point. And I think, business in general is like about an evolution. So like the business has kind of changed course many times throughout the years. It's been in business for 16 years now. So no, I had no clue, but I think that the important part for someone like you is just starting. Today, I think if I was starting out again, I would probably start with like a defined view of what I want in terms of my product, in terms of who I'm trying to sell to and how I'm going to market it. That's the starting point, and I would recommend to not start without that.
When you were designing your clothes, do you have any messages behind it?
Whenever I do the creative process, first, the most important part to me is like, how is this guy going to wear it? So I literally envision like, oh, he's going to go to the store, he's going to go get coffee, he's going to go on a date, or he's going to go to the movies, or he's going to go to a nightclub, or he's going to go here, and he's going to want to put that jacket on and feel fresh and walk in with the bravado and all that stuff. So, or he's going to go work out. And like Grande AC, when I was conceptualizing Grande AC, I've always been like the chubby guy in the gym, but outside the gym, I always felt like I'm dressed the most unique, the fly guy or whatever. So I'm like, fuck this, I'm gonna bring the fly guy vibe to the gym, so that at least if I'm the weakest in the gym, I'll be the flyest guy in the gym. It's funny because then when I wear Grande AC now and I go to a gym, the dudes that are like, they'll come up to me like, yo, that's a fly fit. And I'm just like, at least it makes me feel better.
It's like, yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. Like you can crush me on like the bench presses and all this stuff, whatever, but I'm crushing you on the outfit. So again, it's like I walk into the gym with that swag and this is what I want. I'm gonna be wearing these sneakers, I'm gonna be wearing a headband, but I want the vibe to be like this, or I'm gonna go on a run and I wanna be noticed, or we're gonna add this screen print to Grande AC, or for instance, with New Republic, we work with the designer, but the designer, Mark McNary, when we always talk concept, it's always about like, all right, where is this guy like going to wear this? Like for instance, if we do like driver shoes, all right, he's gonna be in a more like a beach kind of setting. All right, we envision him being on like a yacht, or he's wearing a Chelsea boot. All right, he's in New York or Paris, like going into a restaurant, into a club or whatever. So it's really about the environment, and then it kind of works backwards.
Okay. Are you open to any type of fashion? Are you edgy when you're wearing your clothes?
Personally?
Yeah, personally.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like, I'm different, right? So like with 5'4", I don't make edgy clothing because it doesn't sell for men in America.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Like if I was in Japan or like
North, South.
Italy or whatever, cool. But the American man, the way he dresses is very casual. Yeah. So you kind of have to design into that. But so that's why it's fun, because I have different creative outlets where it's like, okay, 5'4" guys like this, Grande AC guys like this, the New Republic guys like this, et cetera, et cetera. So you're able to design for different types of people. I wear like this is a Grande C shirt.
Yeah.
This is a 5'4" jean. So I incorporate 5'4" as much as I can into my thing, but I kind of like to be loud.
Yeah.
That's just my style. So I don't make loud clothing. Like I made this is a custom shirt I made in Barcelona. Like yellow is literally the worst selling
It is.
color in clothing. But like I like yellow, so whatever,
Yeah.
you know. But I would never make a yellow shirt because I know it'll bomb.
Do you have any advice for me or the upcoming fashion designers?
Yeah, I think that the most important thing when starting out is, again, like your product is your number one thing when starting, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ultimate most important part is how you're going to promote and sell this and your brand story. But when starting out, it's like, what's your product? I always say making great product is really easy if you have a perspective from a design view and all that stuff. Meaning, okay, I'm envisioning I want to make like hats or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. How do I make the best hat? Well, if you're a designer and you have a certain taste level, cool, I'm gonna make a hat with this material and this material and this material, whatever. Cool, I'm gonna figure out how to make it. So then identifying like how to make your product the best that you can at the price point that you want it to be. And then, okay, then you go basically backwards and like, okay, what's this gonna cost me? How am I going to sell this? Am I going direct to consumer? Am I going wholesale? And then the next step is, what's my brand story? What's my narrative? Why me? Like you always have to ask, why me? Because in today's day and age, what's very different from back then is that fashion is very transparent now, and consumers want to associate with the brand or with a person behind the brand. And, you know, you have to tell that narrative of why are you the one that is making this hat or this product or whatever. So you have to have that story like super tight, because, you know, everything's content now. That is the most important part today, where before it was more product driven. Today, I think product is your first step. You have to identify and make sure it's the best product possible. Then your next step is, what's my brand story? And how am I going to communicate that to the world?
When you're making a design, and you know, say, do you always have like another thought about it? Like you don't like it, or I don't want to put this on this or something.
I hate everything. I'm kidding. No, so like, yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, I used to like something and then dislike it and then change it, whatever. I've taken a new approach, which I wish I would have adopted earlier in my career, where once I've said done, move on. I apply that now recently, and probably in the last 2 years with design, where before I would change literally 90% of designs and it would disrupt a lot of things. Now I change like 5% of the time. Who's your fashion icon?
I was gonna say you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Nice. So what do you want to do?
What I want to do
Yeah.
is basically make the design like what you do. I started with like painting and drawing, and then I told myself, well, if I could do this, what if I could do it with fashion? So like one of my designs is just a plain, you know, maid's dress, or it's just a nice dress. On the design of it, it would be patches of jean material. And
so you need to be careful with that. I'll tell you why. Because silk is a very thin fabric.
Yeah.
And denim usually is much more coarse. If you're gonna do that, you should use like an 8-ounce denim, as opposed to typically you'll see like an 11, 12-ounce jean.
Yeah.
Which is like, for instance, this right here is like a 10.5 ounce. This would carry the dress, and silk usually drapes, right? If you put fabric like denim, if you put thicker fabric on a thinner fabric, it's never going to work. Because on most items, I'll tell you why. Because that fabric will basically droop the thing, and then it won't be complementary. So you have to find a silk and a denim essentially that are the same weight, or the denim is slightly lighter so that it doesn't affect the drape of the silk. I think the other thing too that's important is like identify who it is that you're going after.
Yeah.
Like, and say, this is who I want to wear my product. You know, like, this is what I envision. And literally now it's easy. Like you just go on Instagram and like identify
what people,
who that person is, that guy or that girl. This is what they wear. This is what they look like. This is what they do. Blah 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 blah. Like, and then your design narrative becomes a lot more focused because you identify that I'm designing for this person and this person only, and you stick with that. I think that's the most important thing. There we go. Thank you, Frank, for setting this up. David, thank you. Angel, of course, the main guest here. We out.